Hey everybody, I'm Jack with Future Pastimes, and I'm the designer on the eChasm Moritani expansion, which is the third expansion for the Classic Dune board game, the 2019 edition from Gale Force 9. One of the variants in that expansion is something called Nexus cards. Now, these are cards that you can draw at the end of a Spice Blow and Nexus phase in which there was a Nexus and at least one alliance exists between the other players. So let's say, for instance, it's a 6-player game, and you have your Nexus, and 4 of the players end up forming alliances. So you have 2 alliances, and you have 2 other players who are not in alliances. Each of those players can draw a Nexus card. So you take the top card of the Nexus deck, and there are 12 cards in there, 1 for each faction in the game, and you use all of the cards. Doesn't matter which factions are in play. When you draw the card, you keep it secret. You can only have 1 card. If there has been a subsequent Nexus later on and you still have a card, you can choose to discard the one that you had and draw a new one. And if you have a card and you get into an alliance later on, you have to discard that card. So you can't be in an alliance and have a Nexus card. What they do is they give you a one-time effect. And each of the cards has 3 different effects on it, but it's going to be only one of those that you can use. And it just depends on which factions are in the game and which faction you are playing. So we're going to break down each of the 12 Nexus cards, one in each video. And the first one that we're going to do is the Atreides. So what's going to happen is you've got 3 different effects. You've got one that's called Betrayal, one that's called Cunning, and one that's called Secret Ally. And the effect that you use, just again, it just depends on who's in the game. So we're going to start with the Betrayal one. It says, cancel an Atreides advantage. So you would use this if Atreides is in the game and you are not Atreides when you draw this card. So let's say that you're playing with the base factions and you're the Harkonnen, you've drawn this card. This is going to give you a one-time effect that's going to cancel something that the Atreides can do. So that effect is prevent the Atreides battle advantage of seeing one element of any battle plan. So it's very much like a Karama. It's going to cancel that effect, but nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. They don't know if the Atreides card has been drawn by anybody, because again, you have all 12 cards, so you may end up drawing one for a faction that's not in the game. So let's move on down. The second one is a Cunning. So this is if you are Atreides and you have drawn the Atreides Nexus card. It gives you the Cunning effect. Obviously, you wouldn't use it to cancel your own effect, so that doesn't quite work. And as when we get to the Secret Ally, you're not in an alliance with yourself. So the Cunning effect is really the only one that is applicable. So here is force your opponent to show you a second element of their battle plan. So it's like using your battle prescience twice on the same player in the same battle. So that could be very handy in a battle. You're sitting in there, you're like, all right, I've got both types of weapons, I've got both types of defenses, and I'd love to be able to really get all my ducks in a row. So I'm going to say, yeah, let's show me what weapon, and then I'm going to play this Nexus card, and it's going to be show me something else, show me your defense as well. So that can be very handy. Nexus cards cannot be canceled. So you can't use a Karama to cancel this. Now, if somebody wanted to Karama the ability of Atreides being able to use the battle prescience, this would prevent them from seeing a second thing because they haven't seen a first thing as well. So it's a little bit of a way to get around that. So, but yeah, you'd have to do that before they had done this as well. Although I don't want to get into a whole timing thing. Like I have to play it really quick and do everything on there. One thing that I will note is that not every one of these Cunning effects will work in Basic. And so because of that, there is a rule that whenever you draw your own Nexus card, you may immediately discard it and draw a new card. And that doesn't matter whether you're playing Basic or Advanced. That is just a hard and fast rule. If you are really more interested in getting a Secret Alliance ability or getting a Betrayal effect, or you just feel like, oh, this Cunning is pretty good, but I would rather do something else. Again, when you draw your own card, at that time, you may discard it to draw a different card. And you may want to do that just so you know, all right, now I know where the Atreides card is. It's in the discard pile. And it may be quite a while before we go through all of the Nexus cards and then have to form a new deck. So getting through all 12 of those cards doesn't really happen. often, certainly it would be a long game with a lot of nexuses where not everybody was in an alliance. And finally, we're going to talk about the secret ally. So this is if you draw the Atreides Nexus card and nobody in the game is playing Atreides. So this allows you to have what is what's called the secret ally effect. And it's very much like you were in an alliance in here. In almost every case, it is the advantage that you would get if you were allied with a faction and they are in the game. So here, and it says if the Atreides are not in the game. So it really helps you out knowing which effect to use. During a battle, force your opponent to reveal your choice of one element of their battle plan: leader, weapon, defense, or number dialed. So that is what you would get if you were allied with Atreides. So, and again, it's a one-time effect. So it's not going to be able to like, oh, I can always do this for as long as I'm playing solo. So it is one time. You're going to lose it after you use it. And then, again, if there's another Nexus and you still wish to go solo, you can draw a new card and see what kind of surprises you have in there. So that's how the Nexus cards work, and that is what all the effects are for the Atreides. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you had a chance to try out Nexus cards, please weigh in with what you think of them. For me, I think that I will absolutely use Nexus cards in every game. It's really handy in a game with an odd number of players. So if you're like, oh, we're playing 5-player Dune. In the past, you get the Nexus and, yeah, 4 of those players are going to get into an alliance, and the other player doesn't have any choice. They are not in an alliance, and they're probably in a weak position. And so this may help them out. It gives them a chance to say, all right, I've got a surprise, and I might be able to unleash for some interesting effect. Again, if I'm in a battle against Atreides, I may be able to stop them from using their advantage, or I may be able to take advantage of that myself if they're not in the game. And having that prescience might be just the ticket I need to win a battle and help turn the tide in my favor. So that's why I like them. I think they're really easy to bring into the game. They're easy for new players to understand and use, and it's a nice little bit of extra surprise that I find very thematic for Dune. So thanks for watching. That's it for this video. We'll see you again soon.